Hello, I'm Terry Kolath. I'm here today with Chuck Fuschel of Parkwood. We're talking about his next offering in the Academy of Lifelong Learning, American Folk Music. Chuck, thank you so much for joining me.
Indeed.
Right off the bat, I want to know, is there another kind of folk music besides American?
Every culture has their own folk music. It's just the music that everyday people play.
Now, I had heard that it's music that we don't necessarily know who wrote it, but it represents popular culture. Is that true, or is that just a Wikipedia way of looking at it?
Well, that's true. Traditional folk music has no known author, and it's learned and passed by rote. People hear it from someone and try to replicate it later, and their memories aren't always 100%, and so the verses tend to float from one song to another.
Fabulous. And it gives us identity then. Identity
Yes.
with our tribe, our people,
Yes.
you know, our culture. Fabulous. Now, you have such a varied and wonderful background. How did you get into music? What was it about music that drew you in?
Well, it was back in 1960 when the folk music revival occurred here and in England. And everybody, it seemed, was walking around playing a guitar. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try that. I had studied piano as a child, and it went okay, but I really wasn't into it all that greatly. I probably didn't work as much as I should have. But I'm very grateful I had that opportunity because it made learning how to play the guitar very easy for me.
Did it?
And I taught myself, basically. And whereas a lot of people who were active in the folk music revival, now their instruments are gathering dust in the closet. I never put mine away. I've been playing for 40 years.
And that brings us to this class. You have some people playing with you.
Yes, I do.
Tell us about them and your group.
Well, we have a soprano. Her name is Pamela Simon. I met her when I was a tenor with the symphony chorus here in Florida, and she was singing soprano. And we sang together in that group for about 5 or 6 years. I retired because I wanted to get back to folk music and the music of the Appalachians. And later Pam was thinking about retiring from that group as well. And I asked Pam, would you like to learn some of these mountain ballads and perhaps play them for folks that don't have an easy time getting out, like in the pavilion? We play over at Lee Health Rehab, Cypress Cove, and
Fabulous.
places like that.
That is so wonderful. Now, a little bit more about folk music, because it's so amazing to me. And we've talked about it a little bit, the flavors of music that have come to America because of our immigration.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit with me, how that's affected folk music
Well,
and music in
America
general.
was a brand new nation, and it had Native Americans living here, and they had music traditions of their own. But when Europeans arrived, they brought with them their traditions from Europe and especially the British Isles. Predominantly the immigration was from the British Isles. And so I get into how and when they arrived and where did they migrate to. And a preview is they migrated, many of them, to the southern Appalachians because the land was free.
Sure.
And they couldn't own land at all in their own country. They were tenant farmers. So this was a great opportunity for them.
How does it feel when you're playing? Does it feel like you're connecting? Do you feel the connection with the people listening and joining in because we can't help it?
Yes, yes, you do. You sense, when you're playing, you sense an audience reaction. And it's much more exhilarating to play before an audience than it is by yourself practicing, because you don't get that feedback. And especially when we're playing at the pavilion, some of the folks in the audience are very quiet. They don't say much and don't communicate much, but they get kind of lively when the music begins.
Isn't that the most interesting thing?
It is.
It comes back to us. It just comes back to us. It's something, other things may be leaving, you know, our consciousness, but the music, there's something about it that evokes feeling. And
Music is a direct access channel into the emotional side of the brain.
Well
And-
said.
And it gets right in.
It does, it does. And I feel sorry for people who are a little hesitant to let it in,
Yeah, well,
because how wonderful when you do, right?
yeah, it is. And they loosen up with time.
Yeah, they do. Well, come and loosen up with us. Enjoy folk music. You'll learn a lot. You'll have the opportunity to sing along a little bit.
Yes.
And it will be an educational and really fun time with Chuck Fuchsel and his group.